Welcome back to my channel. It's Megan Fox. I write with PJ Media, and today I'm going to read to you the story behind the Netflix hit, which is trending #1 on Netflix right now, Inventing Anna, the story of Anna Sorokin. As I was watching this and I was getting kind of into it, I think I'm on episode, what am I on? Is it a movie? Is it episodes? I'm not even sure. Let's see. Maybe it's a movie. Um, I'm checking. Looks like, yeah, I'm on season 1, episode 2. And I started getting really interested in this actual story and the journalist who wrote the original story. So I looked it up and I found the article by Jessica Pressler. And I'm going to read that to you. Let's read it together and find out the story behind this fake heiress and how she tricked the elite of New York. So this was in New York Magazine. It was updated February 8th of 2022. But I don't know when the original publishing date was. It doesn't say. All right, so it's called Maybe She Had So Much Money She Just Lost Track of It. Somebody had to foot the bill for Anna Delvey's fabulous new life, and the city was full of marks. So it looks like it originally published in May of 2018, and then it was optioned for the Netflix limited series produced by Shonda Rhimes. And if you know anything about Shonda Rhimes, she has produced all kinds of really terrific things on television. So I'm going to read this to you and we'll get the backstory on this true story. It started with money, as it so often does in New York. A crisp $100 bill slipped across the smooth surface of the mid-century inspired concierge desk at 11 Howard, the sleek new boutique hotel in Soho. Looking up, Nefertari Davis, the 25-year-old concierge who goes by Neff, was surprised to see the cash had come from a young woman who seemed to be around her age. She had a heart-shaped face and pouty lips surrounded by a wild tangle of red hair, her eyes framed by incongruously chunky black glasses that Neff, an aspiring cinematographer with an eye for detail, identified as Celine. She was looking, she said, in an in an accent that sounded European, for the best food in Soho. "What's your name?" Neff asked after the girl waved off her suggestions of Carbone in the Mercer kitchen and settled on the butcher's daughter. "Anna Delvey," said the young woman. "She'd be staying at the hotel for a month," she went on, which Neff also found surprising. Usually it was only celebrities who came for such long stretches, but Neff checked the system and there it was. Delvey was booked into a Howard Deluxe, one of the hotel's mid-range options, about 400 a night, with ceramic sculptures on the walls and oversized windows looking onto the bustling streets of Soho. It was February 18th, 2017. "Thanks," Delvey said. "See you around." That turned out to be a promise. Over the next few weeks, Delvey stopped by often to ask Neff's advice, slipping her $100 each time. Neff would wax on about how Mr. Purple was totally washed and Vandal was for hipsters, while Delvey's eyes would flit around behind her glasses. Eventually, Neff realized Delvey already knew all the cool places to go. Not only that, she knew the names of the bartenders and waiters and owners. "This is not a guest that needs my help," it dawned on her. "This is a guest that wants my time." This was not out of the ordinary. Since she'd started working there, Neff, a Washington, D.C. native with a wedge of natural hair, giant Margaret Keane eyes, and a gap-toothed smile, had found herself playing therapist to all manner of hotel guests, husbands cheating on their wives, wives getting away from their husbands. "You just sit there and listen because that's your concierge life," she recalled recently, at a coffee shop near her apartment in Crown Heights. Usually these guests want back to their own lives, leaving Neff to hers. But February became March, and Delvey kept showing up. She'd bring food down or a glass of extra dry white wine and settle near Neff's desk to chat. Some of the other hotel employees found Anna deeply annoying. She could be oddly ill-mannered for a rich person. Please and thank you were not in her vocabulary, and she would sometimes say things that were not racist, Neff said, but classist. "What are you, bitches broke?" Anna asked her and another hotel employee. But to Neff, it didn't come across as mean-spirited, more like she was some kind of old-fashioned princess who'd been plucked from an ancient European castle and deposited in the modern world. Although, according to Anna, she came from modern-day Germany and her father ran a business producing solar panels. And despite her unassuming figure, a sort of Sound of Music Fräulein, one acquaintance later put it, Anna quickly established herself as one of 11 Howard's most generous guests. People would fight to take her packages upstairs, said Neff. Fight because you knew you were getting $100. Over time, Delvey got more and more comfortable in the hotel, swanning around in sheer Alexander Wang leggings or occasionally a hotel robe. She ran that place, said Neff. You know how Rihanna walks out with wine glasses? That was Anna, and they let her. Bye, Miss Delvey. Anna was preparing to launch a business, a Soho House-ish type club, she told Neff, focused on art, with locations in LA, London, Hong Kong, and Dubai. And Neff became her de facto secretary, organizing business lunches and dinners at restaurants like Seymour's and the hotel's own Le Coco. That's what they do in the rich culture is meals, said Neff. On occasion, when Delvey showed up while the concierge desk was busy, she would stand at the counter, coolly counting out bills until she got Neff's attention. I'd be like, Anna, there's a line of 8 people here, but she'd keep putting money down. And even though Neff had begun to think of Anna as not just a hotel guest, but as a friend, a real friend, she didn't hesitate to take it. A little selfish of me, she admitted later, but yeah, and who could blame her? This was Manhattan in the 21st century, and money is more powerful than ever. Rare is the city dweller who, when presented with an opportunity for sudden and unexpected influx of cash, doesn't grasp for it. Of course, this money almost always comes with strings attached. Sometimes you can barely see them, like that vaudeville bit in which the pawn dives for a loose bill only to find it pulled just ahead. Still, everyone makes a reach, because here money is the one thing that no one can ever have enough of. For a stretch of time in New York, no small amount of the cash in circulation was coming from Anna Delvey. She gave to everyone, said Neff. Uber drivers, $100 cash. Meals, listen. You know how you reach for your credit card? She wouldn't let me. The way Anna spent money, it was like she couldn't get rid of it fast enough. Her room was overflowing with shopping bags from Acne and Supreme, and in between meetings, she'd invited Neff to foot massages, cryotherapy, manicures. Anna favored a light Wes Anderson pink, according to Neff. What is cryotherapy? Isn't that when you get your head frozen? And where's is there really a store named Acne? Who decided to name a store after pimples? Moving on. One day, she brought Neff to a session with a personal trainer slash life coach she'd found online, a svelte, ageless, Oprah-esque figure who works with celebrities like Dakota Johnson. Stop sinking into your body, the trainer commanded Anna. Shoulders back, navel to spine. You are a bright woman. You want to be a businesswoman. You got to be staying strong on your own power. Afterward, as Neff planted on the sidelines, Anna bought a package of sessions. It was, I'm not lying, $4,500, said Neff. Anna paid cash. Neff's boyfriend didn't understand why she was spending so much time with this weird girl from work. Anna didn't understand why Neff had a boyfriend. But he was rich, Neff protested. He'd promised to finance her first movie. Dump him, Anna advised. I have more money. She would finance the movie. Neff did dump the guy, not because of what Anna had said, although she had no reason to doubt it. Her new friend, she discovered, belonged to a vast and glittering social circle. Anna knew everyone, said Neff. At night, she'd taken to hosting large dinners at Le Cocu, attended by CEOs, artists, athletes, and even celebrities. One night, Neff found herself seated next to her childhood idol, Macaulay Culkin, which was awkward, she said, because I had so many questions, and he was right there. But they were talking about, like, friend stuff, so I never got a chance to be like, so, you the godfather to Michael Jackson's kids? Despite her seemingly nomadic living situation, Anna had been long a figure on the New York social scene. She was at all the best parties, said marketing director Tommy Salah, who met her in 2013 at Le Baron in Paris during Fashion Week. Delvey had been an intern at European Semester magazine Purple and appeared to be tight with the magazine's editor-in-chief Olivier Zahm and its man about the town André Saravia? I don't know, and owner of Le Baron. Two of the 200 or so people you see everywhere, as Salah put it. Chilterns and Lulu's in London, the Crow's Nest in Montauk, Paul's Baby Grand in the Bowery Hotel, Frieze, Coachella, Basel. She introduced herself, and she was a sweet girl, very polite, said Salah. Then, we're just hanging with my friends all of a sudden. Soon, Anna was everywhere too. She managed to be in all the sort of right places, recalled one acquaintance who met Anna in 2015 at a party thrown by a startup mogul in Berlin. She was wearing really fancy clothing, Balenci Balencia or maybe Alaya. I don't know how to say hardly any of these things. And so if I make a mistake, don't make fun of me, or do make fun of me in the comments below. That's always fun. And someone mentioned that she flew in on a private jet. It was unclear where exactly Anna came from. She told people she was from Cologne, but her German wasn't very good, or or what the source of her wealth was. And on a note, this is me talking now, not the article. In the Netflix, adaptation, the the actress playing Anna has this accent that is so bizarre, and I guess they probably did that on purpose, but it sounds so fake. It sounds completely made up. At times, it sounds Irish, and at other times, it sounds English, and then it sounds German, like, it's just a mess. I wonder if that's what it sounded like. Moving on. But that wasn't unusual. There are so many trust fund kids running around, said Salah. Everyone is your best friend, and you don't know a thing about anyone. After a gallerist at Pace introduced her to Michael Zufu Huang, the extremely young, extremely dapper collector and founder of Beijing M. Woods Museum, Anna proposed they go together to the Venice Biennale. Again, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Huang thought it was a little weird when Anna asked him to book the plane tickets and hotel on his credit card. But I was like, okay, whatever, he said. It was also strange. He noticed during their time there that Anna only ever paid with cash. And after they got back, she seemed to forget she'd said she'd pay him back. It was not a lot of money, he said, like $2,000 or $3,000. After a while, Huang kind of forgot about it. When you're super rich, you can be forgetful in this way, which is maybe why no one thought much of the instances in which Anna did things that seemed odd for a wealthy person. Calling a friend to have her put a taxi from the airport on a credit card, or asking to sleep on someone's couch, or moving into someone's apartment with the tacit agreement to pay rent and then not doing it. Maybe she had so much money she just lost track of it. The following January, Anna hired a PR firm to put together a birthday party at one of her favorite restaurants, Sadelle's, in Soho. It was a lot of very cool, very successful people, said Huang, who, while aware Anna owed him money for their Venice trip, remained mostly unconcerned about it, at least until the restaurant, having seen the Polaroids of Huang and Anna at the party on Instagram, messaged him a few days later. They were like, "Do you have her contact info?" He says now, because she didn't pay her bill. Then I realized, oh my God, she is not legit. As Anna bounced around the globe, there was some speculation as to where her means to do this came from, though no one seemed to care that much as long as the bills got paid. I thought she had family money, said Jema Cardoso, one of the owners of the Surf Lodge in Montauk. Delvey's father was a diplomat to Russia, one friend was sure. No, another insisted. He was an oil industry titan. As far as I knew, her family was the Delvey family that's big in antiques in Germany, said another acquaintance, a millionaire tech CEO. It's unclear what family he was referring to. The CEO met Anna through the boyfriend she was running around with for a while, a futurist on the TED Talk circuit who had been profiled in The New Yorker. For about 2 years, they'd been kind of like a team, showing up in places frequented by the itinerant wealthy, living out of fancy hotels and hosting sceney dinners, where the futurist talked up his app and Delvey spoke of the private club she wanted to open once she turned 25 and came into her trust fund. Then it was 2016. The futurist, whose app never materialized, moved to the Emirates, and Anna came to New York on her own, determined to make her arts club a reality. Although she worried to Mark Kramers, the London creative director helping her with branding, that the name she'd come up with, the Anna Delvey Foundation, or ADF, was too narcissistic. Early on, Anna and architect Ron Castellano, a friend of her purple cohort, had scouted a building on the Lower East Side, but it turned out to be too close to a school to get a liquor license, and soon Anna had shifted her aspirations uptown. Through her connections, she'd befriended Gabriel Calatrava, one of the sons of famed architect Santiago. His family's real estate advisory company, Calatrava Grace, had helped her secure the lease, she informed people, on the perfect space, 45,000 square feet occupying 6 floors of the historic Church Missions House, a landmarked building on the corner of Park Avenue and 22nd. The heart of the club would be, she said, a dynamic visual arts center with a rotating array of pop up shops curated by artist Daniel Arsham, whom she knew from her Purple days, and exhibitions and installations from blue chip artists like Urs Fischer, Damien Hirst, Jeff Koons, and Tracy Emin. For the inaugural event, Anna told People, the artist Christo had agreed to wrap the building. Some people raised their eyebrows at the grandiosity of this plan, but to others it made sense in a New York kind of way. The building's owner, developer Abby Rosen, was no stranger to the private club genre. A few years earlier, he'd bought a midtown building and opened the core club, which housed an art collection. He also happened to own 11 Howard. With the help of Calatrava executive Michael Jaff, a former employee of Rosen's RFR Realty firm, Anna soon began meeting with big names in the food and beverage world to discuss possibilities in the space. One was Andre Balaz, who, according to Anna, suggested they add 2 floors of hotel rooms. Another was Richie Notar, one of the founders of Nobu, who did a walkthrough of the building with Anna as she described her vision, which included 3 restaurants, a juice bar, and a German bakery. Apparently, her family was prominent in Germany, Notar said, and funding this big project for her. But a project of this size required more capital than even someone of Anna's apparently considerable resources could manage, approximately 25 million. In addition to 25 million existing, Anna wrote in an email to a prominent Silicon Valley publicist in 2016. If you think this is something you could help us with, and have anyone in mind who would be a good cultural fit for this project. But by fall, Anna had turned down the idea of private investors, in part because she didn't want anyone telling her what to do. If we were to bring in investors, they would say, oh, she's 25. She doesn't know what she's doing, Anna explained later. I wanted to build the first one myself. To help secure a loan, one of Anna's finance friends had told her to get in touch with Joel Cohen, best known as the prosecutor of Jordan Belfort, aka the Wolf of Wall Street. Cohen now worked at Gibson Dunn, a large firm known for its real estate practice. He put her in touch with Andy Lance, a partner who happened to have the exact kind of expertise that Anna was looking for. In the past, she'd complained to friends about feeling condescended to by older male lawyers because of her age and gender, but Lance was different. He knows how to talk to women, she said, and he would explain to me the right amount without being patronizing. According to Anna, she and Lance spoke every day. He was there all the time. He would answer in the middle of the night or when he was in Turks and Caicos for Christmas. After filling out Gibson Dunn's new client intake form, which included checking boxes that confirmed the client had the resources to pay and would not embarrass the firm, Lance put Anna in touch with several large financial institutions, including Los Angeles based City National Bank and Fortress Investment Group. Our client, Anna Delfey, is undertaking a very exciting redevelopment of 281 Park Avenue South, backed by a marquee team for this type of venue and space, Lance wrote in one email, in which he explained that Anna needed the loan because her personal assets, which are quite substantial, are located outside the U.S., some of them in trust with UBS outside the U.S. The money she received, he added, would be fully secured by a letter of credit from the Swiss bank. Lance did not respond to request for comment. When the banker at City National asked to see the UBS statements, he received a list of figures from a man named Peter W. Henneke. Please use these for your projections for now, Henneke wrote in an email. I'll send the physical statements on Monday. Question: Are you from UBS? The banker replied, puzzled by Henneke's AOL address. No, Anna explained. Peter is head of my family office. With Anna in fundraising mode, the artists and celebrity friends at her dinners were gradually supplanted by men with Goyard briefcases and Rolexes and Hublot? I don't know what that is. Like that Jay-Z lyric, according to Neff, who at one point looked across the table at Le Cuckoo, Kausau, Susu, I don't know. I don't know how to say that, and recognized the face of infamous farmer bro Martin Shkreli, who would later be convicted of securities fraud. Oh man, these people. Ugh. Anna introduced Shkreli as a dear friend, although it was really the only time they'd met. Shkreli told New York in a letter from the penitentiary that Anna was close with one of his executives. Anna did seem to be popular, a popular woman about town who knew everyone, he wrote. Even though I was nationally known, I felt like a computer geek next to her. As for Neff, she was not as discreet as she had been with Macaulay Culkin, tweeting after the fact that Shkreli had played her and Anna the leaked tracks from the Carter 5? I don't know what that is. The delayed Lil Wayne album he'd acquired. Well, no wonder I don't know what it is. I don't follow that type of music. Anna was furious, but Neff refused to delete the tweet. I wanted everybody to know that I had heard his album that the world was waiting on, but Anna was pretty mad. She didn't come down to my desk for maybe 3 days. In the meantime, though, Neff said she'd had another visitor, Charlie Rosen. Abby Rosen's sons were generally regarded as pretty boy trust fund kids. A few years back, they made headlines for reportedly racing ATVs over piping plover nests in the Hamptons. But Neff liked them, and when Charlie stopped by one evening, she dropped that she'd recently been to visit the Park Avenue building that one of the guests, a young woman, was leasing from their father for an arts club. Rosen looked confused. He didn't appear to have ever heard of Anna or her project. "What room is she staying in?" he asked. When Neff told him, he looked skeptical. "If my dad has someone buying property from him staying here," he said, "wouldn't she be in a deluxe, or would she be in a suite?" He had a point. A few days later, Neff broached the subject. "Why did you tell me you're buying property from Abby, but you're not staying in a suite?" she asked. Anna looked surprised, but answered immediately. She said, "You ever have someone do so many favors for you, you kind of just want to pay them back in silence?" "Genius," Neff said. All right, I'm going to stop here and continue in a different video because I'm getting tired. It's a long video. It's a long article. It goes on for pages and pages. But if you guys have not watched the Netflix special or Netflix new series called Inventing Anna, you might want to check it out. I'll be back with part 2 later.